Something very interesting happened last week. At the same time, I don't know if it was all in the same exact week, but it was within 10 days of each other. There was 3 different leaked memos from 3 different CEOs, one from Shopify, one from Fiverr, and one from Duolingo, talking about their evolving thoughts and their evolving policies around AI. I think it is really, really telling about where the world is going, how some of the best leaders are thinking about it. The radical candor and honesty in this type of stuff is real, and there's a lot for you to take away to massage your brain in new direction. So I'm going to read them on the show. They're short, I promise, about an email's long, and we're going to talk about what it means. Strap in. Welcome to the Property Management Framebreakers podcast. I'm your host, Pablo Gonzalez, and I am here to introduce you to the folks in the property management space that have broken the frame of what you may believe was possible. This podcast is presented by Vendoroo. It is your all-in-one AI solution for resolving your maintenance needs. Let's go. Once again, on one of these mini episodes, we're doing something we've never been done before here on the Property Management Framebreakers podcast. I call this one reading to you. Seriously, these are short memos. Instead of making you go look for them and whatever, I'm just going to read them out to you because they're really worth hearing every word of it. So I'm going to start with, I'm going to go in release order. First one is the CEO of Shopify, whose name I did not know before this. His name is Tobias Lütke, German fella. As you may or may not know, Shopify is a platform for e-commerce, right? Like they're kind of, them and Amazon are the reasons why all these like one person, $1 million e-commerce businesses have popped up. And he talks about basically kind of like what's happening. And then he gives 7 really good points about what it means. So here's him explaining what's happening. Team, we're entering a time where more merchants and entrepreneurs could be created than any other in history. We often talk about bringing down the complexity curve to allow more people to choose this as a career. Each step along the entrepreneurial path is rife with decisions requiring skill, judgment, and knowledge. Having AI alongside the journey and increasingly doing not just the consultation, but also doing the work for our merchants is a mind-blowing step function change here. Our task here at Shopify is to make our software unquestionably the best canvas on which to develop the best businesses of the future. We do this by keeping everyone cutting edge and bringing all the best tools to bear so our merchants can be more successful than they themselves used to imagine. For that, we need to be absolutely ahead. So that's how he opens. If you're thinking about this as a property manager, right, like the language would be something along the lines of, we're entering a time where real estate has never been more important than ever, right? With all this tumultuous stuff happening in the world around us, you know, like our job here as property managers is to allow people to build wealth reliably through the asset class that has made more millionaires than ever. As AI enters the fold, this should increase our ability to promise outcomes that are deliverable, to meet the expectations that they want, right? To keep people in this asset class, right? This is how I would be thinking about it when it comes to you in this statement. So here's his first big statement in bold letters. Reflexive AI usage is now a baseline expectation at Shopify. Here's where he starts to give direction to his team. Maybe you are already there and find this memo puzzling. In that case, you already use AI as a thought partner, deep researcher, critic, tutor, or pair programmer. I use it all the time. But even I feel I'm only scratching the surface. It's the most rapid shift to how work is done that I've seen in my career, and I've been pretty clear about my enthusiasm for it. You've heard me talk about AI in weekly videos, podcasts, town halls, and Summit, their event. Last summer, I used agents to create my talk and presented about that. I did this as a call to action and invitation for everyone to tinker with AI, to dispel any skepticism or confusion that this matters at all levels. Many of you took up that call, and all of us who did have been in absolute awe of the new capabilities and tools that AI can deliver to augment our skills, crafts, and fill in our gaps. You know what I love about this section is something I love about leadership, which is leadership by example, right? Like this dude is not just essentially saying, hey, I've been reading a lot about AI. I think you should read about it too. Or he's not just saying, I'm hearing this is coming, somebody bring me a solution. He's saying, hey, I see this coming. I've researched it. I've become a practitioner. I showcased my practitionership in front of everybody. Call to actions. Other people have done it. And the people that have done it have led to great rewards, right? Like whether there's people that are, I see this a lot with like content creation, right? Like CEOs are like, I want people on LinkedIn. And it's like, dude, if you're not doing it, if you're not showing results on it, nobody else is going to do it. But once you do it, and then you get other people to do it, and they're having success, then other people start doing it, right? So this is kind of like his approach has been leadership by example on this thing because it's uncertain and it's scary. Now he starts to speak from a place that isn't just from authority, but it's also socially validated by other people's successes. What we have learned so far is that using AI well is a skill that needs to be carefully learned by using it a lot. That's a ... using it a lot, right? Like it's just too unlike everything else. The call to tinker with it was the right one, but it was not too much of a suggestion. This is what I want to change here today. We also learned that, as opposed to most tools, AI acts as a multiplier. We're all lucky to work with some amazing colleagues, the kind who contribute 10x of what was previously thought possible. It's my favorite thing about this company. And what's even more amazing is that for the first time, we see tools become 10x themselves. I've seen many of these people approach implausible tasks, one we wouldn't even have chosen to tackle before, with reflexive and brilliant usage of AI to get 100x the work done. I'd like to talk about this word reflexive, right? Like he's talking about the idea that as soon as you have something to do, just kind of like you wake up in the morning and you check your phone, or you get to work and you log in and you check your email. What he's trying to say is turning to AI should be just like that. The moment you start doing anything reflexively, not reflectively, you think about how to do it with AI, right? Like it's like that's your first reaction. The other thing that I like about this is this idea of him realizing that everything is so much more different from the past, right? Like he is decoupling from his previous assumptions, understanding that this is not a efficiency gain, this is a multiplier. And when you pair multiplier mindset people with multiplier mindset tools, you get a 10x person with a 10x tool, now you're getting 100x, which means you're able to do things that before you just discarded as impossible. Let's continue. In my On Leadership memo years ago, I described Shopify as a Red Queen race based on the Alice in Wonderland story. You have to keep running just to stay still. In a company growing 20 to 40% year over year, you must improve by at least that every year just to requalify. This goes for me as well as everyone else, right? He's not holding himself unaccountable to anybody. He's saying, hey, I got to perform just like everybody else. This sounds daunting, but given the nature of the tools, this doesn't even sound terribly ambitious to him anymore. It's also exactly the kind of environment that our top performers tell us they want. Learning together, surrounded by people who also are on their own journey of personal growth and working on worthwhile, meaningful, and hard problems is precisely the environment Shopify was created to provide. This represents both an opportunity and a requirement deeply connected to our core values of be a constant learner and thrive on change. These aren't just aspirational phrases. They're fundamentally expectations that come with being part of this world-class team. This is what we founders wanted. And this is what we built. Now he's hitting on something that, I feel like I've talked a bunch on this show, but haven't really harped on it as much as I'd like. And it's this idea that the number one workplace perk is not ping pong tables, it's not unlimited PTO, it's not health insurance, it's being surrounded by A players. If you're an A player and you are surrounded by A players, that is the best way to do the best work of your life. And humans are happiest when they're in service, right? So if you enable people to do the roles that they were born to do, as opposed to the stuff that they have to do, they buy in, they're all in. And this guy is realizing that this idea of sending people on a journey of everybody continually improving with AI is creating these incredible results. I also like that he's tying back all this stuff to core values, right? The functional use of core values for decision making is something that I also like to talk about. Most people just kind of see it as like writing on a wall or whatever, and they think policy is what matters. No, if you build your core values into your decision making, into your strategic decision making, it carries way more weight. So now we get to his list of 6. I know I said 7 before. His list of 6 things of what all this means. Number 1, Using AI effectively is now a fundamental expectation of everyone at Shopify. It's a tool of all trades today and will only grow in importance. Frankly, I don't think it's feasible to opt out of learning the skill of applying AI in your craft. You are all welcome to try, but I want to be honest, I cannot see this working out today, and definitely not tomorrow. Stagnation is almost certain, and stagnation is slow motion failure. If you're not climbing, you're sliding. Basically, he's saying it's AI or die. If you're not learning AI, you're not going to be an able part of the workforce, not at Shopify for sure, and likely not anywhere else. 2, AI must be part of your GSD prototype phase. The prototype phase of any GSD project should be dominated by AI exploration. Prototypes are meant for learning and creating information. AI dramatically accelerates this process. You can learn to produce something that other teammates can look at, use, and reason about in a fraction of a time it used to take. I'm just going to keep going because I don't really know what that means. 3, we will add AI usage questions to our performance and peer review questionnaire. This is powerful. Learning to use AI well is a non-obvious skill. My sense is that a lot of people give up after writing a prompt and not getting the ideal thing back immediately. Learning to prompt and load context is important, and getting peers to provide feedback on how this is going will be valuable. Imagine that, putting AI into your performance reviews. What are you learning on AI? Making that an expectation, putting it into your job descriptions, right? Like right now, as I'm hiring people, I'm asking them, what's the last thing you learned on AI? What's the last, thing that you said, right? Keeping this as a habit. Number 4, learning is self-directed, but share what you learned. You have access to as much of the cutting-edge AI tools as possible. There is chat.shopify.io, which we had for years now. Developers have Proxy, Copilot, Cursor, Claude Code, and all pre-tooled and ready to go. We'll learn and adapt together as a team. We'll be sharing W's and L's with each other as we experiment with new AI capabilities, and we'll dedicate time to AI integration in our monthly business reviews and product development cycles. Slack and Vault have lots of places where people share prompts that they developed, like hashtag revenue AI use cases and hashtag AI centaurs. This is huge, right? Like, he is basically saying, hey, I'm in. I will buy all the tools for you to experiment in because he sees the value in this thing, and I expect you to experiment in it, and I expect you to share with other people. All right, like, this is how you get the most out of it. This is the idea of you can't underinvest in this stuff, but you're going to get the most out of it when people are actually using it and sharing it with each other, and everybody becomes an agent for change. 5, before asking for more headcount and resources, teams must demonstrate why they cannot get what they want done using AI. What would this area look like if autonomous AI agents were already part of the team? This question can lead to really fun discussions and projects. I mean, this is a core narrative of what I'm talking about right now, right? This idea that agents are now ready to be part of the workforce. So as you are looking to grow or any kind of help, the first question has to be, can this be done by AI, right? Like, this is the moment to start asking those questions, to not make a new hire, to not take that shortcut. First, test yourself to see what you can do with AI as a way to keep yourself true to this. And then 6, everyone means everyone. This applies to all of us, including me and the executive team. Again, everyone is everyone, right? Like, he is holding himself accountable. Like, this idea that you might be able to, just like when social media came around, you're like, nah, I'm just going to get my niece to do this for me, right? Like, imagine if you would have gone full Gary Vee and owned it yourself like he had said, right? Like, the difference in your business. This is that times 1,000 bajillion, because it's AI. It's something that's going to affect everything, right? So, like, you are not excluded from this. You need to be testing AI. And he ends with this, the path forward. AI will totally change Shopify, our work, and the rest of our lives. We're all in on this. I couldn't think of a better place to be part of this truly unprecedented change than being here. You don't just get a front row seat, but are surrounded by a whole company learning and pushing things forward together. Our job is to figure out what entrepreneurship looks like in the world where AI is universally available. And I intend for us to do the best job possible of that. And to do that, I need everyone's help. I already laid out a ton of the AI projects and the themes this year. Our roadmap is clear, and our product will better match our mission. What we need to succeed is our collective sum, total skill and ambition at applying our craft multiplied by AI for the benefit of our merchants. Toby, CEO of Shopify. Mission driven, right? Wraps this whole thing, all this ask, everything that he said for the good of our client. This is a really well-written memo with really good strategies, and you can learn not just from the strategy, but from the approach of how he writes it. Okay, up next is a short one. This is just an email from the CEO of Duolingo. Many of you probably have heard of Duolingo or have used Duolingo if you're trying to learn another language, but it's an app. I actually found it in Miami, so I actually met this guy at an event that we put together one time. But it's an app to learn a language, and here's his email. His name is Luis. I've said this in Q&As and many meetings, but I wanted to make it official. Duolingo is going to be AI first. AI is already changing how work gets done. It's not a question of if or when, it's happening now. When there's a shift this big, the worst thing you can do is wait. In 2012, we bet on mobile. While others were focused on mobile companion apps or for websites, we decided to build mobile first because we saw it was the future. That decision helped us win in 2013 iPhone app. It helped us win the 2013 iPhone app of the year and unlocked the organic word of mouth growth that followed. Betting on mobile made all the difference. We're making a similar call now, and this time the platform shift is AI. We've talked about this a couple of times, you and I, on this show. We talked about it with Stacy. These shifts in context create massive opportunities. Luis is realizing that just like betting on mobile when you were developing apps in 2013 was a massive advantage, right now betting on AI is a massive advantage that can change the trajectory of your company forever. The other thing is he inserts this terminology, AI first. This is a terminology that's starting to pop out. It's starting to become synonymous with this idea of like first option is look at AI and then look at everything else, right? And that is something that you're going to continue to hear. All right, he continues. AI isn't just a productivity boost. It helps us get closer to our mission. To teach well, we need to create a massive amount of content, and doing that manually doesn't scale. One of the best decisions we made recently was replacing a slow manual content creation process with one powered by AI. Without AI, it would take us decades to scale our content to more learners. We owe it to our learners to get them this content ASAP. Again, wrapping it in the mission, right? Justifying it by the value you're creating. Continue. AI also helps us build features like video call that were impossible to build before. For the first time ever, teaching as well as the best human tutors is within our reach. You heard this in the Shopify one. Something we never thought was possible is now officially possible. That's true for you also, right? This idea of really, can maintenance be done as good as me by an AI? Can leasing be done as good as me by an AI? That seems impossible. Guess what? These people are realizing this is possible. Things that were impossible are possible now. He continues with that terminology we just said. Being AI first means we will need to rethink much of how we work. Making minor tweaks to systems designed for humans won't get us there. All right, this is a breaking off point, right? Bannister breakthrough. It's no longer about rethinking the systems that we had and anchoring in the past and trying to bring it to the future. It's about being in the future and reverse engineering. I continue. In many cases, we'll need to start from scratch. We're not going to rebuild everything overnight. And some things, like getting AI to understand our code base, will take time. However, we can't wait until the technology is 100% perfect. We'd rather move with urgency and take occasional small hits on quality than move slowly and miss the moment. This is the idea that you're better off. I know that there's AI fatigue. I know that a lot of these tools aren't kind of like where they say they are, but you are better off failing forward with these things than waiting for a moment till the pool is warm to jump in. That's what he's realizing here. So here's his bullet points. We'll be rolling out a few constructive constraints to help guide this shift. 1, we'll gradually stop using contractors to do work that AI can handle. 2, AI use will be part of what we look for in hiring. 3, AI use will be part of what we evaluate in performance reviews. 4, headcount will only be given if a team cannot automate more of their work. 5, most functions will have specific initiatives fundamentally change how they work. Very similar to the Shopify CEO, right? They're basically saying, we're not going to hire remote teammates. We're not going to hire contractors unless it's an agent first. That's the first thing that we're going to look at way before we do that. And then before that, after that, they're going to look for that in hiring as well, right? AI use will be part of what we look for in hiring. That's an AI skill set. That is AI as an agent for hiring as well. Part of performance reviews, just like the Shopify CEO. Headcount will only be given if you can prove that you can't do it by AI, just like the Shopify CEO. And all functions will have specific initiatives fundamentally of how they work, right? So just keeping it front and center and everything. And then he ends with this. All of this being said, Duolingo will remain a company that cares deeply about its employees. This isn't about placing duos, what they call their people, with with AI. It's about removing bottlenecks so we can do more with the outstanding duos we already have. We want you to focus on creative work and real problems, not repetitive tasks. We're going to support you with more training, mentorship, and tooling in your AI function. Change can be scary, but I'm confident that this will be a great step for Duolingo. It will help us better deliver on our mission. And for duos, it means staying ahead of the curve in using this technology to get things done. Luis. So there it is, right? Like ends with this idea of this is not about replacing you. This is not about taking your job. This is about the fact that like we're going to super duper empower you with your job. We're going to invest in all the right AI so that you get access to it. This is going to change your career and it's going to change the company. But that's the message that people are going with, right? Like I know that the scary thing is that it's going to come take our jobs. Right now, leaders are really talking about it from the standpoint of it's not really taking your job. What it's doing, it's like making you way more capable. And that's kind of the same thing we do when we come in with Vendoroo. Like if you don't like your team, cool, it can be replaced. But at the end of the day, whatever your team is doing can be supercharged if you get the agents to do the maintenance. They can go do the really, really interesting things and they get to be, co-working side by side with an AI. Okay, so here's the last one. This is Michael Kaufman. This is the CEO of Fiverr, right? So this guy, he's in the line of fire, right? Like remote work and remote workers and what Fiverr represents is kind of like the first thing that these people are talking about cutting, right? Like contractors. So here's his memo. Hey team, I've always believed in radical candor and despised those who sugarcoat reality to avoid stating the unpleasant truth. The very basis for radical candor is care. You care enough about your friends and your colleagues to tell them the truth because you want them to be able to understand it, grow, and succeed. So here's the unpleasant truth. AI is coming for your jobs. Heck, it's coming for my job too. This is a wake-up call. It does not matter if you're a programmer, designer, product manager, data scientist, lawyer, customer support rep, salesperson, or finance person. AI is coming for you. You must understand that what was once considered easy tasks will no longer exist. What was once considered hard tasks will be the new easy, and what was once considered impossible tasks will be the new hard. If you do not become an exceptional talent at what you do, a master, you will face the need for career change in a matter of months. I am not trying to scare you. I am not talking about your job at Fiverr. I'm talking about your ability to stay in your profession in the industry. This guy is going hard because he feels the pain. He knows that he's at a existential threat, and so are his people. And it's not coming from a place of fear. It's coming from a place of care, right? This idea of having to tell people the truth is something that we experience it all the time, right? Like when we're coming in with a solution, people get really challenged. They think about, well, the value of my worth is being in these work orders, but it used to be the value of your work, right? Like the value is changing. This guy's saying all these different jobs are going to change, including his. And he is not this idea that it's like, hey, it's only for hiring decisions. It's saying it's coming for your job. Now, after he made his urgency clear, he now begins to talk solutions. He continues, are we all doomed? Not all of us. But those who will not wake up and understand the new reality fast are, unfortunately, doomed. What can we do? First of all, take a moment and let this sink in. Drink a glass of water. Scream hard in front of the mirror if it helps you. Now relax. Panic hasn't solved problems for anyone. Let's talk about what would help you become an exceptional talent in your field. Here's his list of things. 1. Study, research, and master the latest AI solutions in your field. Try multiple solutions and figure out what gives you superpowers. By superpowers, I mean the ability to generate more outcomes per unit of time with better quality per delivery. Programmers, code, cursor, customer support tickets, intercom, Fin, Centisum, lawyers, contracts, Lexis+, AI, Legora, etc. 2. Find the most knowledgeable person on our team who can help you become more familiar with the latest and greatest in AI. 3. Time is the most valuable asset we have. If you're working like it's 2024, you're doing it wrong. You are expected and needed to do more, faster, and more efficiently now. 4. Become a prompt engineer. Google is dead. LLM and Gen AI are the new basics. And if you're not using them as experts, your value will decrease before you know what hit you. 5. Get involved in making the organization more efficient using AI tools and technologies. It does not make sense to hire more people before we learn how to do more with what we have. 6. Understand the company's strategy well and contribute to helping it achieve its goals. Don't wait to be invited to a meeting where we ask each participant for ideas. There will be no such meeting. Instead, pitch your ideas proactively. 7, stop waiting for the world or your place of work to hand you opportunities to learn. Create those opportunities yourself. I vow to help anyone who wants to help themselves. So this list of 7 here, I find really, really interesting, right? Like there's a lot of what we've already heard, right? This idea of, hey, study this thing, tinker with this. He lists out the tools per trade of what to do it with. Surround yourself with other people doing it, right? Like these are all common themes. But he goes a step further. He goes a step further to say that whatever your skill set is right now is going obsolete, right? Like Google is no longer going to be relevant to you. You got to be a prompt engineer. You got to be able to use these things. He is beckoning people to take a leadership role here, right? Like bring ideas to the table. This is something that I find really interesting in these. We talk about this in these context shifts create great opportunities, right? There are seats at tables that are there to be had. There should be there on your team. You should be making seats at the table for the person that wants and shows that they're super into this AI thing, that's aligning with company goals and bringing things to the table. Like make that obvious, right? Like I guess the negative way of saying is like turn this into a competition. The positive way of saying it is gamify it, right? But like make it obvious that the person here that brings the most value will change their career because they're going to change your company if they really take this torch and run with it. Incentivize people. And then at the end, he does what everyone else is doing. He makes himself part of the solution, right? He offers himself as a mentor, himself as a resource. And then he ends with a final note here. If you don't like what I wrote, if you think I'm full of shit, or just an asshole who's trying to scare you, be my guest and disregard this message. I love all of you and wish you nothing but good things, but I honestly don't think that a promising professional future awaits you if you disregard reality. If, on the other hand, you understand deep inside that I'm right and want all of us to be on the winning side of history, join me in a conversation about where we go from here as a company and as an individual professional. We have a magnificent company and a bright future ahead of us. We just need to wake up and understand that it won't be pretty or easy. It will be hard and demanding, but damn well worth it. This message is food for thought. I have asked Shelly to free up time on my calendar in the next few weeks so that those of you who wish to sit with me and discuss your future can do so. I look forward to seeing you. As you can tell, this one hits slightly differently, right? Like this one has a very different tone, way more urgent. I find it interesting that the first two sounded so much alike, kind of like going around the edges, this idea of like, we're not going to invest without putting it through this. And this guy's just going really, really hard at, hey, your job is on the line. My job is on the line. Company's on the line. He's really not sugarcoating it. He's really not trying to dull the urgency of this thing. And I think it's, one part because he's directly in the line of fire, right? Like remote team, gig work, all this stuff is really in the line of fire for this type of stuff. But what I really like about what he's doing is that he's really inviting people to the table to be part of the solution. I feel like, everybody's like, all of them have said, yeah, I can talk to you, like, come talk to me, man. But this guy's really just like, hey, this is an escalator to the top for you because he understands the drasticness of this. So where do these memos leave us? I hope that you're listening to this stuff and you're taking away lessons on leadership, right? It is time to lead. It is time for you to have a goddamn opinion on this thing, to have a real, not just like, watch out, this is what's happening, but become a practitioner on this. Start tinkering. You want to lead this thing from the front. All 3 of these CEOs have become practitioners. They have decided that they're going to dive in and they're not going to outsource this thinking to AI or to other people because it's that dire. They've also made it very, very clear that if you want to join in on that fight, if you want to be part of this future thing, it's open, right? Like there is upward mobility happening inside of their company, just like there's upward mobility happening in whatever industry you're in. And the industry that we're in, that upward mobility is very, very real. And I encourage you to make that obvious for your team. I remember when one of my biggest investments of 2024 was I flew to the Philippines, I met with my team, and I basically made it very clear to them that their ability to level up will impact the company and their impact on the company will impact their lives. And they really believed it. And it's been an unbelievable year of growth for my team and myself and everything that we've accomplished. And we're all super proud of it. But this is a much bigger moment. This is a moment where Everybody is in the same boat. I was just in this Uber here in Austin, and I was talking to, I don't know if you know this, but I'm Venezuelan, right? And Venezuelans are kind of like the bad guys right now in this political theater, and rightfully so. We have a government that is an enemy to the state, but because of that, many people have left, and because of that, the good people that are leaving are also confronting a lot of friction in this country. And the Uber driver was kind of telling me about that. He had just gotten here like a year ago with his son. He slept a night on the street, his first night, kind of a crazy story. But after he told me this harrowing story, I was like, dude, here's the deal, man. And I have goosebumps talking about this. He's like, here's the deal, man. It's cool that you're learning English. It's cool that you're getting after it, man. I really believe in your ability to do this. But the good news is right now, everyone's at zero. Everyone with AI right now is literally, it's like freshman year of college, and you get to show up and remake your reputation from high school, right? Like everybody's in the same boat. You know, your company can become the biggest company in the space in the next 2-3 years. Whatever you do as a leader, from being a property manager to being a speaker and a thought leader and all these different things, it's wide open there for you. However you want to define yourself right now, whether you are an employee of a property management company listening to this, a property manager yourself, owner, broker, whether you work in one of our vendor partners or somebody else in the ecosystem, any seat that you are in, it is time. It is time to do this. I'm going all in on this. Like I've gone all in on this by joining Vendoroo, but I have a lot of meat left on the bone of being a practitioner of these tools. You can bet your ass I'm about to make a memo to my team of how we level up for this. And I started, kind of like the CEO of Fiverr, right? I started with a message to my friends. I have this group of 8 men that we call ourselves the Account Buddies, right? Like we're in a men's accountability group. And I wrote this in our chat. If you got kids in the car, I cuss here. So, this is a dude's group. So I put in all caps. Oh, well, first of all, I sent them a screenshot of all these emos, of all these memos, and I put this. This is the effing moment, fellas. It's not Bitcoin. It's not real estate. It's not your next job or the next market you expand into. It's AI that will make you or break you financially in the blink of an eye. Think about how much the world has changed in 20 years thanks to computing power. Now think about this. Moore's law indicates that computing power doubles every 2 years. Now, think about how much the world has changed because of that over the last 20 years. 20 years ago, Google search was cutting effing edge, and Facebook didn't even exist. Now think about this. AI power doubles every 6 months. We are at the intersection of the biggest, fastest context shift the world has ever experienced. The vastness of change we've witnessed in the last 20 years will be witnessed in the next 5. The difference between you and the old person that can't log into their email right now will be the difference between people doing most things like they were before, and those building everything they do around AI in just 5 years. There is no amount of time or money that you can be spending on reimagining your life as AI first that would be a bad investment right now. That's just how I feel, right? Like that idea of Moore's law and how far we've come in 20 years and how we can go just as far of like an unimaginable future in just 5, that's really, really real. Think about it, right? So, of course, one guy, my buddy Kurt, responded, goes, but how? What actionable steps does one take to begin utilizing AI now, other than using ChatGPT for everything you possibly can? And of course, I made a kind of an asshole answer. I put, how do you learn anything? Become obsessed. And then I shared with them 2 podcasts. One podcast. One is called The Golden Age of AI. It's happening right now. Here's why, on Greg Eisenberg's Startup Ideas podcast. I'll link this in the show notes. You should listen to it. Then I linked the book, The AI-Driven Leader by Jeff Woods, and I'll link that in the show notes as well. And then, I just put my money where my mouth is. I've paid like $5,000 for this guy to like show up and kind of like teach me how to do AI about a year ago, and I'm ready to re-up. I just bought a $500 course of this like creator capitalist category pirates of basically how you design your career in AI moving forward, right? So I'm doing everything possible. I hope that you hold me accountable for this, and if I see you, I'm going to hold you accountable for this, because this really, really is the moment.